Today, I want to talk to you about this interesting concept that I've developed over the years and that I think many drivers need to pay attention to. Why? Well, because I've noticed through the years that having it too easy early on in a career, so hear me well, having it too easy early on in a career, it's actually a negative thing rather than a positive thing. Think about your N60 Mini, okay? So here at BabyRace, we are working with 60 Mini drivers, right? We have a team that is structured only around 60 Mini, and it's going pretty well over the years, been quite successful, and helped us gain 29 WSK championships, and not just in 60 Mini, but in the last few years, mainly 60 Mini, like from 2020 to 2025, we've just been into 60 Mini full time. In the past, we used to do OKJ, and OK seniors. So, but like, yeah, in the last 5 years, we have had 12 WSK, 12 drivers winning WSK championships. So, yeah, it's good pretty well. But my point being is that working with 60 Mini drivers for so many years, and also when I was driving in 60 Mini back in the days, so 2010, 2011, and also, having the team being in 60 Mini, involved in 60 Mini throughout all the years, since 2007 all the way till 2025, almost 19 years, 18 years basically, we have seen it all. We could write a book about it, honestly. So many drivers that won in 60 Mini, for example, and won too easily, too easily. That's the point. Like, you can tell when driver wins too easily. Like when they have such a good equipment that basically they don't almost have to challenge. They don't almost, yeah, they don't get challenged by the others. But when that happens, well, you start piling up trophies in your bedroom, and you may look good on social media with all these trophies and championship wins here and there. But when that happens and you have that too easily, what do you think that happens in the head of the driver? Well, I'll tell you what I believe it happens. Since I've raced against so many drivers in Mini that they were really good, like performance wise. I drove in 2010, 2011, and we had like a engine tuner inside of the team back then. So I was the baby race. Like I was driving for the team that my dad founded, and we couldn't really change engine tuner here and there. Like we for that year we are kind of stuck with our engine tuner, and it was like, I think it was Vortex engines. But at that time, it was the moment that LKE Solenzo was arising, and pretty much any driver then was starting to win with those engines LKE. And I remember some drivers like Marco Dionisius and other ones that were racing against me back then, and they were like literally winning pretty much every race. It's like easy, like so comfortably winning, and I was like, oh, but they can't be like I'm there. They must be good, they're not that good. Inside of me, I had this feeling like they're not that good. If I'm in that same card, I'm gonna beat them. Okay, maybe I was cocky or so, but I think that was the case. And when they moved up to juniors, because in juniors, let's be honest, it's still okay. You need to still have good equipment. I mean, the car package, engine chassis, mechanic has to be spot on. Okay, but there's gonna be more packages like that. They're gonna find 15, 20 drivers with that same package on the grid. Like, not same, but like within half a tenth of your perform, like perhaps half a tenth faster or half a tenth slower. It's gonna be 15 of them, 20 of them in the race, in the final, in OKJ, WSK, CIK, Challenge of the Future. Whereas in Mini, you may find 2 or 3 drivers like that, and maybe even within your team, and the others will be like a tenth off, or 2/10 off, 3/10 off, 4/10 off, etc. So you may have quite a big difference actually between, performance wise. We in the team are trying to keep it like trying to keep it, you know, want to try to keep the engines as similar as possible across the drivers. We all have a number one engine and number two engines. Each driver like race and testing engines, but like I don't want to get in depth into that. But like we understand everyone needs a chance. Everyone needs a number one engine, and then obviously number two is like 2 or 3 times slower, and then pretty much everyone runs on that until testing. Qualifying onwards, we go on the number one engine. Yeah, what I noticed is that when I moved up to juniors, because I actually the only races I won in me were on the rain basically, and yeah, it wasn't very fun. I was always asking my dad if we could get like those engines from like everyone was where we're like it's literally top 10. We're like LKE, 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 and I was like P11, like the first Vortex, and even like literally people were talking, oh, you're the first, like the first of the rest, like the best of the rest, something like that. Like in F1, like you have, McLaren, for Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, and then there's like the best of the rest. Like it felt like that back then. It was like, oh, you're the best of the rest. I was like, but what the hell? I'm not here to finish 11th or so. But honestly, I was so thankful because when I was lacking a couple of tens of engine, let's say, and I could see like I could see like they were pulling away, and like I had to drive as well as I could to make that up. And even though I was not maybe able to make up that full 2 tenths, I would make up 1.5 tenths, and that put me fighting in for the top 5. I think I got a P3 once in WSK in the dry in me. Yes, I did, before moving on to the OVJs. So, but I was like, when I was getting up to the Alpha 10th and 1/10 behind them, it felt like I gave it all. I couldn't do anything more like it. And I was like this literal practice of extrapolating performance out of what I had, like trying to get squeezing absolutely everything I had from the performance, really served me well. Huge, huge. It served me really, really well in juniors, because then in juniors I arrived, and our team was structured with a really good engine tuner. It was called One Engines from Earle, and the engines were good. Chassis were OTK, so back then was pretty much the best combination, OTK Vortex. And straight out of the gate, I started to win. I won right away an Italian Championship race. Then I won like a club race, like back to back. And then I went to compete right away for the World Championship, the FA World Championship in Sarno. And out of 100 plus drivers, I set it out on pole of my group, and I was P3 overall. And in front of me was only Max Verstappen, who was P2 overall, and P1 overall was Charles Leclerc. They were P1 respectively of their groups, and we were just like within one, like few thousandths away. Like, we were racing in the heats, and we had the same pace in the final. Unfortunately, I crashed. I got spun around when I was fighting for P4. Then I went back almost from last, and I finished, I can't remember if it was 10th, 8th, whatever, but I got the fastest lap, and Charles Leclerc won the race, but I was faster than him in overall in the lap time. I think 1 or 2 tenths, remember. But yeah, the point being is that when I went to juniors straight away, I was super fast, and I think that helped me also in the following year when I was always obviously winning more and more, because it gave me, like, when I was in mini, that early on struggle allowed me to learn how to extrapolate every bit of performance from my card. And also when I was driving, trying to optimize everything I could, like in terms of lines, in terms of like finding, like, driving the other drivers and trying to understand from them what they were doing faster, using curbs on the entries, nailing the apexes perfectly, like using the track perfectly on the exit, so I was actually well known for that among my teammates, for using so much track. And sometimes even like almost every session I would end up like at least once on the grass, because I would push the limit so much that I would always go at least once or twice in the grass in the session. Like I would be carrying so much speed, getting on the gas so early, and like sometimes too early, and just getting dropped off on the like off the exit curb and on the grass. But yeah, I remember I was really pushing it like crazy. And I don't think I would have had this same experience if I had it too easy in karting. But in mini, think about it. If in mini you're winning so easily, or sometimes even in juniors. But I'm not here to be like, oh, then you should be driving in a bad team, or you should driving for like with a bad material. No, I'm not saying that, because nowadays mini is also quite competitive. Like it's very competitive, and you get like 20, not 15 drivers where they can all, like, not 15 but 10, 12 drivers. They all have pretty much the same pace. They can all win. So back then it was not like that. Back then it was 2 or 3 drivers, and the others were off, quite a bit off from the others. So yeah, now it's changed. But those drivers I was telling, like Marco Dionisius and other drivers, they were dominating when I was driving. And when he went to juniors, literally, I don't think they've done any podium. And I think they disappeared after a couple of years. So it could be many things, it could be I don't know exactly the reason, but I didn't see them on the podiums anymore. And but yeah, but it happened so many years. Like I was keeping an eye on Mini all the years later, and only ones that were having it too like almost too easy. Like it can't be that can't be that much. Like it can't be that easy. And then when they went up to juniors, they would be struggling a lot. So as I said, I think Mini is a really good learning ground. But yeah, but honestly, this is not just for Mini. This is also for juniors, for example. In general, like the topic of this video was having it too easy early on in a career is not gonna be the best for you. So suffer now, benefit later. I think that's my mentality towards it. If I'd have a son, and if I'd put the son into racing, which I'm not really sure I'm gonna do, I'm probably I might. I mean, I'm I've got a girlfriend right now. Sometimes we discuss about that. I'm like, would you, would you sustain that? She's like, no, because all the races back and forth, and it's like all the tension, drama, etc. She was like, no, please, let's let let's get into do something else like soccer or like swimming or so. Like, okay, we'll see in a few years. Um, but yeah, so if I had a son right now, I would make sure he's in a great team, but I wouldn't make sure he's got the best equipment. I'm not saying that I don't want him to be on a good equipment. I'm just saying that I would want him to be on equal equipment to his teammates, pretty much. And obviously, he needs to have a fair chance of winning. But I'm not pretending to make up like to make up maybe his skill gap with performance. If he's currently lacking 2/10 because it's not that good yet, I don't want to I don't want to find that 2/10 with the performance on the card. I want to find those 2/10 with him. You know what I mean? Because I think if you are not doing that, you're bribing him of future learning. Imagine that like you're 2/10 off, and instead of actually having somebody helping you figure out how to get faster those 2/10 that, let's say, it's just 2/10 of driving, okay? In a world that, let's say, your teammate have the same engine as you, like we can even swap the engines, but like, okay, you're 2/10 off. Let's understand how to close the gap. So, and maybe you have to watch the data, watch the video. Oh yeah, maybe easy fixes. Maybe 2, 3 corners, alpha corner here, alpha 10th here, alpha 10th there. Perfect. We close the gap and even actually pull the gap on the others. But instead of doing that work, and you instead try to close the gap with the package, performance wise, engine wise, I mean, you're not really doing what the kid needs. You're not really helping the kid grow. So yeah, I think that is something that somebody like everybody should be mindful about it. So parents, kids, but like parents mostly. If you're watching this, a dad or a mom, you need to be aware of that. And well, that might be really cool to start getting victories early on in a career and like getting so many podiums here and there. I don't think that is the best thing if it's too easy. I mean, when your son is not driving or your daughter is not driving too good, and she shouldn't be like she shouldn't be winning, or you wouldn't have to win if he's not doing that good. So you should always ask yourself the question like, um, I know it's so counterintuitive. I know this is not many people get this. I know, like I'm ready to hear your opinion in the comments, and probably don't agree with that. But just with full transparency and honesty, like I've met so many people that were so good in mini, then literally, yeah, getting destroyed in juniors and seniors simply because they weren't ready for like they were winning me. Think about it, if you win early on in your career, what do you think? Like your ego grows. You think you're doing everything right. You think you're God or something. You think you're the best, but maybe you don't realize you have something under like right next to you that is like compensating your mistakes. Maybe like 3, 4/10. No, that's a bit too much. But 2, 3/10 that are compensated with the engine, and that is obviously not a good thing because then you can be doing mistakes and still get a decent result that shouldn't be happening. So yeah, my whole point being is that you shouldn't have it too easy early on in your career. Like you may still be winning, and that's fine. I'm not here saying that you should be losing in mini. I'm saying you still be winning. You might still be winning, but you will notice what it means like winning, and it's like you're like that. It's like really hard, like hard fought, like dessert, rather than like having it easy and like driving away from the group and like, I see you later. Yeah, you get my point. But yeah, so many times it happen. You see it happening, and even some kids that maybe they have got to F1, but you may like I can't name names, but you can tell that no, I mean, to be honest, no, I don't wanna talk about that. But yeah, I've seen it happening a lot through the years. So yeah, just be mindful. Like, and if you're struggling right now, and if you're not in best team, I mean, just try to get all the positives out of it. Try to take full advantage of each opportunity, and you'll see at some point the hard work will pay off. And if you put in so much hard work, and you try to drive so good that you're gonna close that gap, and maybe you're gonna be the best driver on the grid in terms of driving, but maybe your package performance like 3/10 worse than the fastest. So if you can get within 1/10, it means you have got 2/10 of driving that you have managed to show up. And when you're gonna go in juniors, you're gonna be reaping all the benefits. Because as I said, okay, juniors is still important. Like, you still want to be in a really good team. Don't be fooled and think like, oh, you can go in anything. No, you still want to be in the very good teams. But as I said, you're gonna have more drivers competing at the top, right? Compared for example, mini seniors is what it looks like is that it's a bit like mini seniors. Okay, for example, in Europe, because only very few drivers seem to get the performance, like the perfect package to win. Not everyone has. Juniors is more like, I think junior is more the more equal playing field. Where yeah, performance is important, but because there are going to be so many drivers with very similar performance, in that moment you'll really see that the driver makes a difference. All right, so I guess you may have different opinions. This was mine. As I said, this is not the law. I may certainly have some ideas that are not shared among everybody. This is my racing philosophy. It's what I stand for, what I believe. But you may be ready to show me your opinion and in the comments, and maybe I'll have a different opinion about that too. But yeah, remember, next time you go on track, even if you don't have the maximum performance of your car, don't get depressed. Do your best. Hard work pays off. Remember that. So put in the hard work, and you may not get results now. That's this race or the next race or the next few races, but you're gonna reap the benefits in the upcoming years. Remember, the ROI, the return on investment on driving improvement is massive, and no one can take that away from you. Like, you know what, when you are making absolutely every apex in your latest breaker on the track, still making the apexes and utilizing all of the track available on entry and exit, and you're the most consistent driver, then you're probably the best on the track, even if the results are not showing up for it. So, but if you can do all those things perfectly, every corner, every lap, I think very few drivers can be considered to be better than you on the grid. And again, even though you may not win the race, you may not be on the podium, the driving performance will be noted. People will notice that, and yeah, you may get some better shots, and you may progress and get better equipment, better teams, etc. But yeah, ultimately, remember, hard work always pays off, and if you put in hard discipline work, you may be suffering now, but you're gonna laugh later. You're gonna win later. So let me know your thoughts. I'll see you.